Hi folks, Poetry Thursday, recorded and hopefully put onto YouTube on a Thursday. And here's Dr. Jennie with something else beginning with J.
It is indeed. Hello everybody. Several weeks past, I recited from memory Jabberwocky for the entertainment of you all. And Cat Jack said in the comments, could I read The Jumblies by Edward Lear? So I am reading The Jumblies by Edward Lear for Cat Jack. They went to sea in a sieve, they did. In a sieve they went to sea. In spite of all their friends could say, on a winter's morn, on a stormy day, in a sieve they went to sea. And when the sieve turned round and round, and everyone cried, you'll all be drowned, they called aloud, our sieve ain't big, but we don't care a button, we don't care a fig, in a sieve we'll go to sea. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. They sailed away in a sieve, they did. In a sieve they sailed so fast, with only a beautiful pea-green veil tied with a riband by way of a sail to a small tobacco pipe mast. And everyone said who saw them go, oh, won't they be soon upset, you know, for the sky is dark and the voyage is long, and happen what may, it's extremely wrong in a sieve to sail so fast. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. The water soon came in, it did, the water it soon came in. So to keep them dry, they wrapped their feet in a pinky paper, all folded neat, and they fastened it down with a pin. And they passed the night in a crockery jar, and each of them said, how wise we are! Though the sky be dark and the voyage be long, yet we never can think we were rash or wrong, while round in our sieve we spin. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. And all night long they sailed away, and when the sun went down, they whistled and warbled a moony song to the echoing sound of a coppery gong in the shade of the mountains brown. Oh, Timberlow, how happy we are when we live in a sieve and a crockery jar, and all night long in the moonlight pale we sail away with a pea-green sail in the shades of the mountains brown. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. They sailed to the western sea, they did, to a land all covered with trees, and they bought an owl and a useful cart, and a pound of rice and a cranberry tart, and a hive of silvery bees. And they bought a pig and some green jackdaws, and a lovely monkey with lollipop paws, and 40 bottles of ringbo-ree, and no end of Stilton cheese. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. And in 20 years they all came back, in 20 years or more, and everyone said, how tall they've grown, for they've been to the lakes and the Torrible Zone, and the hills of the Chankly Bore. And they drank their health and gave them a feast of dumplings made with beautiful yeast. And everyone said, if only we live, we too will go to sea in a sieve to the hills of the Chankly Bore. Far and few are the lands where the Jumblies live. Their heads are green and their hands are blue, and they went to sea in a sieve. Thank you very much. It's lovely.
Yeah, it is. To me, it sounds as kind of melancholy as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, you think. I mean, so Edward Lear, 19th century, famous for nonsense. His nonsense poems and limericks, endlessly appear for children. But I don't know. Partly it's imaginary world fantasy. Partly it's surrealism before there was surrealism. Partly it's some kind of possible. I've read this, not my idea. Some sort of allegory of, the way the sort of eccentric characters in real life, people who live eccentrically and kind of off the grid, and the way the sort of straights would view them, of as. Oh no, they're living. It's precarious, but they come
They're living in a shed at the top of the garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is melancholy, and that's one of the reasons why I think it's so beautiful.
Reads well, doesn't it?
It reads well. It's written like a song, really. I mean, I had a book of Edward Lear poems when I was a girl, and there were 2 volumes, illustrated volumes, and I had one of them, and mine had The Owl and the Pussycat, which I can sing all the way through, but I'm not going to, and some other things, but it didn't have the Jumblies that was in the other volume of the same edition. So this is kind of, I've only really read this when I'm a grown-up. And it has got this yearning. I mean, I think The Owl and the Pussycat has as well, which is the one I know the best. And it's got this... I always imagine... I don't know much about Edward Lear, but I always imagine him as a man unfit for Victorian straight-lacedness and yearning for excitement and chankly boars and buying a pig and a cranberry tart, and that's all kind of metaphorical for wanting something that's not this ordinary straightened life, enclosed kind of. It feels like the equivalent of a woman yearning to take her corset off, or in more modern terms, yearning to take her bra off, because bras are the most uncomfortable underwear in the entire universe. But yeah, it's
Put a couple of sieves on.
I could, but I'm not going to.
No one
But
would know.
yeah, I just think there's the things like the lovely monkey with lollipop paws, and the crockery jar and the coppery gong and the timberlow, and I just think it's delightful to read because it's got this. It's not a kind of rhyming, and it is rhyming rhyming cutlets. Yes, coming soon to a butcher near you. Rhyming cutlets. Some of it is rhyming couplets, but it's got quite an unusual rhyme scheme.
I've read that. Technically,
it is quite. It's not uncomplex.
Okay.
It's not simple.
I have to say, I didn't really like this kind of thing when I was a child.
I wouldn't have sought it out.
I was quite a serious child, so if people were faced with things like this, I'd be a bit like, sort of, well, this is a bit ridiculous. What are you reading me this for? How would that happen?
Solemn little soul you were.
But now I'm old enough to appreciate it. Scrambling reality and serving it back up to us in this weird kind of way.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So any other requests, I'll be prepared to consider. Anything reasonable.
Alrighty, good.
Thank you very much. Mind how you go. Keep out the Oss Road.